All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to Gonzo'S Wrestling Room, Monday, June 3rd, 2024. I'm Chris Gonzo'S, joined by Tony Gonzalez and Marcus Fine. How's it going, guys?
Doing good.
Yeah, going pretty good. Pretty good weekend. No, Marcus been at home. Wife under the weather, and
Whole family's under the weather.
Oh, yeah.
Our grandson's got double pneumonia, so
Yeah, hopefully everybody gets well soon. And me and Chris was at a show in Lebanon Saturday. We'll talk some about that. Mark, I know you said you had some results for us. I'll let you go.
All right, I want to do a few shout outs first before I get to this. I didn't get the results for Emerge. Who is that? Big Glenn. Okay.
Yeah, that's Glenn. He's on his he's just on his Twitch page instead of Facebook or YouTube like normal. He said, "Get off my Twitch."
I didn't get the results from Emerge, but I do want to shout out to Eric Surge, who won the Emerge Stars tournament over the weekend. We've all seen Eric in action, and that's a big win for him. Yep. So congratulations, Eric Surge. I was unable to make it to the dub on Friday, but we want to shout out to Cameron Saturn, who is now your new WCWO Outlaw Champion, and one hell of a fight on Friday night. I'm telling you, if I was in the audience, I'd probably have gone into the candidate for top 5 or something when the end of the year rolls around. So, what's up, Billy Buzz?
I agree with you.
So, all right. Thanks to Casey, ring announcer Casey, Cecil Cerveza, and our good buddy Warren Misery, who also sent me the results and was in attendance last night. Thanks to all 3 of those guys and lady. I'll try to do this justice here. It says, let's see, Nelson Edwin. Let me read this over again. Oh, okay, I see what you said. Joey O'Reilly defeated Nelson Edwin Robert Doolittle V in the opener. Jared Savage, the Face Collector, defeated LDLC. I'm not familiar with who that is. Now get this. They put 2 people together and made a hell of a tag team out of them. T.Y. Ice, we know him. Yep. We know Christian Cash. And they teamed up together, and they were known as Cold Hard Cash. That is gold right there. And they defeated Ricky Womack and Cecil Cerveza. So, but yeah, I think that's an outstanding tag team. The 2 guys and then that name. That's fantastic.
I agree.
Johnny Downs, the old man John Downs was in the audience or in attendance. Miguel Murphy with John Downs versus Jason Levi ended in an ODQ. Hadarian Jackson Morgan was ruled a no contest because Cold Hard Cash interfered. And in a 5-way lightning elimination match, Damon Jackson, Christopher Gates, Stetson Winters, Rico Jones, and Tyler Scott. And Tyler Scott won that one. And the order of elimination was Damon Jackson first, Christopher Gates, Stetson winners, Rico Jones, and Tyler won that match. Ari Alexander was in attendance. Ari won over Kinsey Black. And in the main event, Jimmy Carrot defeated Devontae Knox and Matt Diesel and is now the new inaugural, I think it's All Vermilion Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. And that's fantastic because I love Jimmy Carrot. I love to see him to get over here. So for him to be the new champion, that is fantastic. Their next show will be Father's Day, and they're doing the tag team tournaments to determine who the new tag team will be. So I knew what Warren would tell me, but he said it was an outstanding show, and I give kudos to Will for finally having it because of 2 rain delays. He still pulled off a damn good show. So kudos to those guys.
Did you happen to hear how the attendance was? They do pretty good on that?
Oh, let me see what Warren told me. That's on a different phone. Hang on a minute. Poor old Warren, I'm surprised he even got results because he sat next to Wiley all night. So I'm surprised he could even remember what results was after having to sit with him the entire night. But he said it said a hot crowd. That's all it said. It didn't say how many was in it, but it said a very hot crowd and a very fun show. So, outstanding. Can't wait to get over there and see that. I think he froze up.
Having all kinds of issues.
I think he froze up. And they're gone. Oh, that's my show again. Anyway, so thank you, Warren. I'm sure you're on here. Cecil and Casey for that. And that was over in Oakwood, Illinois. So if you ever get a chance, AVW, they're a brand new promotion, and they're doing good things. They got a heck of a venue. It's an outside venue at a 210 Saloon Bar and Grill. Food, good food. Families welcomed. If you ever get a chance, boy, now it is all me. I don't know what else to say. So you just get a look at me. Technical difficulties. We'll be back soon.
We're back.
Okay. I was trying to see if I was still on there by myself. I plugged as much as I could, then I ran out of stuff to say. So I said, well, we'll be back in a minute.
Oh, my goodness.
We're having all kinds of issues. We're having all kinds of issues.
So I don't know why anybody got, but like I said, that show was in Oakwood, Illinois. Brand new promotion. It's at a very awesome venue. It's outside. If you ever get a chance, I suggest you run over there and see that. And they froze up again.
All right, maybe it's going to settle down here. I don't know what the hell's going on. Hey, how's it going, Billy?
Okay, Warren says there's probably 50 or 60 people, which isn't bad on a Sunday night of 3 rain delays. So,
Yep.
So again, thank you,
My
Warren.
wife's on here, Chris. We gotta behave.
Will she scare you now, Chris?
Marcus, we gotta behave.
Shit, that never stopped me
We gotta
before.
behave. My wife's on here.
Oh, your wife's on there. Well, so is mine. Now we're both in trouble.
Yeah, we're both in trouble. Well,
We can handle
I'll
one,
go
but you
over
get
what
the
we
two of them
was
together, you're done.
I know it. We was at Lebanon, Indiana for WCWO Blitzkrieg, and I thought it was a really good show. I'm not going to give the results. I'm going to tell you what the matches was because I think Chris will probably be showing that show here probably soon, sometime this week. The show opened with Zay Gates, who lost his belt on Friday night at WCWO. What was that called? Victory Lane, I believe.
Victory Lane, yes.
And he lost that championship on Friday night. Where's my notes here? To Cameron Saturn. And like
What's up,
Marcus,
Austin?
like Marcus said earlier, Cameron Saturn is the new champ there at WCW. But anyway,
Hey, what's up, Justin?
Zay came out and not in a very good mood since he lost the belt, and he's all taped up and hurting and demanding a rematch. And Hidari came out, and Hidari confronted him, and they end up having a little bit of a tussle. I think Hidari threw him around a little bit, and Zay left, and that ended up setting up the main event match for later on that night. First match of the night, we had Johnny Blaze accompanying Jordan James. Jordan James also accompanying Kenneth James in a singles match against Cecil Cerveza. We had Brody Botkins taking on Hoss Huxley and Christian Cash in a three-way match. We also had Max Sterling and the Water Boy. Also had Jordan James, KJ, and Johnny Blaze, them three against in a handicap match against Cecil Cerveza and TJ Powers. We had Justin Danger versus IK3. We had Cameron Saturn and Mike Noble taking on Jackson Morgan and Chris. What's his partner's name?
Phoenix.
Jake. Yep, I'm getting old. And the main event, Adari and Zay Gates. I thought it was a really great show. My favorite matches was the IK3 match with Justin Danger. Danger can work a crowd, so can IK3. They had that crowd going. It was outstanding. And Adari and Zay Gates, I thought put on a great show. So, and not a bad match on the card. It was a super strong show. Say probably a little over 100 there. They're in Lebanon. I don't know if the rain, maybe deterred a few people, but it was a really good show. I'm sure Chris will be showing here soon. Don't want to miss it. Don't want to miss the show. Chris, what do you think of the show?
I thought it was a real good show. Really enjoyed the Justin Danger and IK3 match.
That's what I want to see.
I was talking to you about it on the way home.
Yep.
Really enjoyed that match. Wasn't a bad match on the show. Zay and Hidari in the main event was good. Trying to think, there was Wiley came over and done commentary for a little bit. That was probably the worst part of the night.
Yeah, Wiley and also
Brody came over and commentary. That was good.
Yeah, Brody was good. Brody was in a mood, but Brody was in a mood.
Brody could come over and sit with us anytime. Wiley, on the other hand,
yeah. I blame Marcus for that. If Marcus wouldn't have been there, we could try to keep. We all had 3 mics. We said, "Wiley, sorry, you can't do it." But no,
we'll blame me. Kelly's what got sick. We'll blame her.
He puts it off on Kelly.
But no, it was not another good show by WCWO.
Yeah, I thought so.
She's apologizing.
Okay, next up, guys, we've got our top 5 for indie wrestling and my top 5 for pro wrestling. I'll go ahead and do my top 5 for the pro wrestling. My number 5, I had a tie. I have Liv Morgan and Jordan Grace. Liv Morgan, who's the new champion there for Monday Night Raw. She had beat Becky here recently. And Jordan Grace, who's the TNA champion and is going to be having a match this Sunday at NXT's pay-per-view, Battleground, for the NXT championship against Roxanne Perez. So they're at number 5. Number 4 is Nia Jax, new Queen of the Ring. She won last Saturday. Swerve Strickland, the champion from AEW, I think still doing a great job. Gunther, the new King of the Ring, and is going to get a shot at the championship from somebody, whoever holds the title there on Raw at SummerSlam. And my number 1 still is Cody Rhodes. Still think he's doing an outstanding job, even though he's kind of a sucker. We'll talk about that a little bit here in a little bit. But that's my top 5 for pro wrestling. Marcus, you want to do your independents
All
first?
right. Only because it's the matches we've seen in person, or this could have really this list could really have changed big time if I was able to attend other shows. But at number 5, I give it to Brody Botkins, 2-on-1, winning against the James Gang to win his chance at David Light's Gunslinger title. He defeated both James Gang members, so I give number 5 to Brody Botkins. Number 4, I give to Cody Lee, who was 5 wins to 0 losses in AACW. That guy is going big. He's ready for a title shot. It'd just be interesting who they give it to. I know he's in here, Mr. Justin Danger. Number 3, even though they were kind of controversial wins, he does have 2 wins over the legend Bobo Brazil Jr. And I give number 3 to the U.S. champion of the whole damn world. There you go, Justin. Justin Danger at number 3. Number 2, Cameron Saturn, and it wasn't because he won the Outlaw Championship, because I didn't see that, but I did see Cameron Saturn have 2 clean victories over David Light back-to-back, night to night. So I give Cameron Saturn, because of his victories over David Light, the number 2 spot, and number 1 I give to Maliko, who has had several successful title defenses in the month of May, and I think I've seen every one of them, or most of them. So Maliko's my number 1 for the month of May. So,
Chris, you want to give yours?
Sure. Number 5, I had Justin Danger. 4, I had Michael Elgin. 3, I had IK3. 2, Zay Gates. And at 1, I had Cameron Saturn.
Okay, I'll give mine now. My number 5 was Zay Gates. Still doing a great job, but he lost that title. He's got to work his way back up a little bit. My number 4 was Brandon Day. Really been impressed with him at FEW. He's my number 4. My number 3, Jackson Morgan. He's had a couple of big wins. He had a big win at the DCCW show, and there was another one that's escaping my mind. But he's had 2 big wins.
Right? FEW.
Yes, had a big win in the 3-way against Hidari and Zay Gates. So Jackson Morgan's number 3 on my list. My number 2 is it's a tie. It's War Ready Malenko and Dalton Love. Dalton Love, the DCCW champion, and Malenko champion at WCWO. And then my number 1 is Cameron Saturn. Had a bunch of great matches. Seen him have a great match at FEW recently, and
yeah, him and Elgin put on a heck of a match there at FEW.
Yes.
Yeah, they did. I've seen the video.
He's
That was
been
great.
in the last 6 months since I've seen Cameron Saturn, I haven't seen him have a bad match. He's just been outstanding. So he's my number 1. So there's our top 5s.
Hey, Patty.
Patty, how you been?
Patty.
Yeah, you've seen what Codex has written. Justin Danger's got his 3rd shot. No, actually, I keep saying that.
Yeah.
Bobo Brazil's got his 3rd shot at the whole damn United States champion, and Justin Danger's got to do it all on his own. No help, and he can't get counted out, DQ'd, or nothing, or he loses that belt.
And I do want to give a shout out to Justin Danger. He's going to probably be high up on June's list, because he probably would have made the May list, but June 1st was the Lebanon show.
I went ahead and put him on there anyway.
Anyway, because he defeated IK3. But I didn't put him on there because that match shouldn't count on there. But okay.
Yeah, come on, Chris.
Come on, Chris. Hey, I know you're a big Justin Danger fan. You're kind of a Codex guy, I know. So.
I'm not a Codex guy at all.
Okay, guys. There was a lot of wrestling news that's happened this weekend, and I've got a lot of stuff to go over. The first thing I want to cover a little bit, not going to go through the whole card, but I want to cover a little bit of NXT Battleground on Sunday, June 9th. It's going to be in Vegas at the UFC Apex. I think it's going to be a great show. I believe it's going to start at 8 o'clock, even though when I was looking at one site, had it starting at 10:30 at night. But I think they had and it said Eastern. I think they was confused on that. I don't believe it's going to be starting 10:30 at night on a Sunday night. I'm sure it's going to be starting about 7 or 7:30.
Okay, well, if they put Eastern, does that mean it's starting at 10:30 to correspond with the 3-hour difference in Vegas or whatever?
Well, but usually Vegas is behind us, so
that would put them at 8
I think they got confused.
Who knows?
I think they got confused.
Maybe Reggie had something.
I think it should be. Yeah, probably. But anyway, they're going to be having a 6-woman ladder match to crown the first ever NXT Women's North American Championship. That's going to be interesting. Got a lot of young talent in that for that North American title. The other match I want to talk about was 2 more. But the Jordan Grace, TNA Women's Champ, going up against Roxanne Perez, the NXT Women's Champ, for the NXT Women's Championship. I think that's really big for TNA. And my prediction is I think Jordan Grace is going to win that title. I think she's going to win that championship. And TNA has a pay-per-view the following Friday on the 14th.
Yeah, I think you're right, Billy Buzz. They're on the McDonald's Wi-Fi.
I guess are we back?
Yeah,
And then the other thing is it's not an official match yet, but All Ego Ethan Page, who was a former TNA wrestler and an AEW wrestler, attacked Trick Williams last Tuesday night, and I think that's going to be made a main event match, or definitely a match on the card, but that hasn't been done officially yet. I figure that'll happen tomorrow. And there's 3 other matches on that card that I'm not going to go over now, but it's going to be a really good show. So everybody out there, check it out on Sunday night on Peacock. I think everybody will enjoy it.
Yeah. You know how Kelly
is. The next thing that I wanted to cover was NWA back to the territories. That was this past Saturday at Knoxville, Tennessee. Had 6 different promotions represented. They were bringing back the territory system. And from what I understand, it did very well. It drew very well, had a pretty big crowd. And they also did TV tapings there. So that'll be shown on the CW network in the future. So on the CW app, in the future. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them. It sounds like this territory thing is, at least in the early stages, is working pretty well. Because I seen a picture of the crowd. They had a good crowd.
Yeah, that crowd looked fantastic. The video looked good too.
Yeah, it did. Next up is MLW, and they had a pay-per-view this past Saturday night. It aired live on YouTube, but it's still on there on YouTube for free. You can check it out. I checked it out today. It was a really good show. Really enjoyed it. It took place in Atlanta, Georgia, and they had a sellout crowd of about 1,100 people there at the center stage, and so did pretty well. The last 2 or 3 shows have been sellouts, so they're doing pretty well. Had 3 matches, but the main thing I wanted to go over, and I'm not going to give results away because hopefully people will go out and check it out, but they had an event called a Battle Riot, and it's basically kind of like a Royal Rumble in a way. It starts off, it was 40 participants in the Battle Riot. Starts off with 2, and then 1 comes in every 60 seconds after that. But what differs from the Royal Rumble, yes, you can throw a guy over the top rope, but you can also eliminate a guy by pinfall or submission. There's also no rules. There's no disqualifications, and you can use weapons. So it was a very interesting.
And that's on Facebook or YouTube?
Yes. Yeah, I thought you would be interested in that.
I'll be watching that here after a bit.
and the shows, it's 4 matches counting that. And I think that match was 50 minutes long. The show's only about 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's a pretty good show. Actually, speaking of that, Mark Henry made a debut there. There's rumors that he's going to be sticking around doing some stuff from MLW. And also Teddy Long was also at that event. Here's some of the names that you may recognize that was in this event. Jimmy Wang Yang from former WWE. Akira, who's wrestled a lot here in Indiana, was mostly a deathmatch guy, but not necessarily doing deathmatch there.
Yeah, he's been at the Dub. I mean, I ran across pictures when I was getting those up for Chris that Akira,
Filthy Tom Lawler, who was a former, I believe, UFC fighter. I knew he fought in cage fighting. C.W. Anderson, there's an old name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's in incredible shape. Mm-hmm. I can believe the kind of shape he's still in.
That reminds me of Elgin. That's what he reminded me when I seen him last.
Jake Christ was also, Sammy Callahan, Davey Boy Smith Jr., Shane Mercer, and Matt Riddle. There was just some of the names, but there was 40 people. They had a lot of people from a lot of luchadors in it. It was pretty good show. So people check that out.
Didn't it have a micro in it?
No, that was on Game Changer.
Oh, that was another one? Okay.
Yeah, so got to see a gauntlet match. I'm glad you brought that up on Game Changer last night. And Shane Mercer was in it. And the little micro, who's about 2 foot tall, took on Shane Mercer. And of course, Shane Mercer threw him all over the place. But
I'm sure he did.
Was it Micro Man?
I think his name's Micro Man. He's unbelievable. He's hilarious. But and speaking of Game Changer wrestling, and I think this guy may have wrestled at the Dub. You would know, Marcus. But I know he was trained by Billy Rock. And he's also now the Game Changer new world champ, Mance Warner.
Oh yeah.
Mance Warner is the new Game Changer wrestling champion. He won that in that gauntlet match. That's how you got to be the champion.
Yeah, he wrestled Billy Rock when Game Changer done
Yes.
that one here. What was it, in Evansville or somewhere?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, he's been at the
I know he
Dub
wrestled
too.
a lot in Indiana and always trained by Billy Rock. He's only been in the business, I think, since 2015. So he's a new Game Changer champ. I wanted to shout that out. Next thing I wanted to cover was WWE SmackDown. I don't know, Marcus, if you heard about this or if you've seen it, but AJ Styles kind of pulled a Mark Henry with a fake retirement and suckered in Cody Rhodes and ended up beating the crap out of him. So that's going to continue that feud, and I'm sure they're going to probably feud for the next couple of months. AJ was wanting another title shot, and he was told that he'd have to go back to the end of the line, and he didn't want to do that. So he said he was going to retire and faked out Cody. It was very well done. Some people complained, well, you're just trying to do like Mark Henry, but I thought it was pretty well done. I enjoyed it. The next thing that I wanted to cover was A&E's WWE Legends episode that was on last night about Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I thought it was very well done. I really liked it. But the questions I had for you two was, why do you think, like after that Steamboat Savage match, he won the title, and then he'd asked because his wife was pregnant. He asked he wanted to take some time off, and I think it was 2 weeks or 2 months. It wasn't a real long period of time.
Told him it would take 6 months.
Well, originally told him that he could take the time off and it wouldn't be a problem. But now he had the belt, and they said no, you can't leave that dormant for that long. And he got pissed, and so he ended up taking 6 months off. And they got into it, and there were some issues there. And then he was never pushed again. Really, he was left there, went back, but never really got pushed again. The other thing was in WCW, he had those matches with Flair, won the belt, lost the belt back to Flair, and then never really got pushed there again. And as great as an athlete and as great as a wrestler he was, dependable, great worker, why do you guys think that basically, in my opinion, both companies kind of treat him like shit?
Well, if you want an opinion, I really don't have one. I don't know why WWE couldn't wait 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks. It wasn't like he was taking the belt out for 2 months. They could have done that 2 weeks. Nobody would have missed that. If you don't bring it up and you just don't put him on a card, 2 weeks is that's not very long.
Yeah, 2 weeks. It wasn't 2 months. He asked for 2 weeks off for his baby to be born, and they were jerks about it, and it was already pre-approved. And then he gets called to the office and told different. But I don't understand. I mean, he was so good. To me, the greatest arm drag ever. I don't think anybody comes close to him.
Mm-hmm.
Not even anybody ever come close to that.
No.
And they showed some footage of when he wrestled in 2009, 2010, how good he looked, and they ended up having another match. It was interesting. He was a backstage guy worker, and he had that match where it was like 3-on-1 against.
I remember that, but I didn't remember the rematch at that other.
I remember
that.
It was a Backlash, and what was funny about it was he looks at the card for Backlash, and it says Ricky Steamboat against Chris Jericho, and he looks up at Vince McMahon. So what are you doing? He said, "You can still go." He said, "You're wrestling." He had no idea. They put him on the card, didn't even ask him. And I thought that was nuts. Vince is crazy.
I agree with you, Warren. They did bi-weekly. I don't know why they could have just not bring up Steamboat for 2 weeks.
Do you think it was because he was such a nice guy and would put up with it?
Well, it must have been. They walked on him.
Yeah, because, I mean, the dude was outstanding. And he did anything asked of him pretty much. I don't know. I didn't realize he was such a car guy. And he still races dragsters.
I didn't know he lived in Knoxville. We were just down there last month.
He races dragsters.
Yeah, did you see that car?
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. I wasn't aware of any of that, but the thing they didn't cover, he just wrestled a couple years ago, and still looked fantastic.
Well, didn't he just do a retirement match?
Yeah, it was a retirement match here a year or two ago.
I thought
And
it was
still
just
looked
in the last
fantastic.
6 months. I
It-
didn't think it was that long ago.
I think it was longer than 6 months, but it could have been. But he's, I tell you what. Oh, called X said they see Warren misery. Warren, you might be in trouble, or maybe not. I don't know.
Billy said, "Do you think they blackballed him?" I don't know if they blackballed him. I think they tried to walk on him, and Steve-O wanted no part of it. They
Maybe
thought he was a pushover, and he pushed back.
I know he said he had a good relationship when he was at WWE. When he left there, he knew he could go back to WCW. When he was at WCW, he knew he could go back to WWE. But he'd go back and he wouldn't get any kind of push. He still got good crowd reaction. Still could go as good as anybody. Chris, what do you think? You think he was just a nice guy that got walked over, or I don't understand it.
I mean, that's what it sounds like. I haven't watched the whole thing yet, so I don't know the whole thing. But yeah, that's what it sounds like. Because I mean, I remember growing up watching him. The dude was awesome.
There's a couple things I didn't care for. I got tired of seeing.
I mean, maybe he wasn't, and he wasn't the best. He wasn't the best on the mic. I thought I'm not saying he was terrible, but he wasn't. I don't think he was the best on the mic compared to some of the other. Guys.
He wasn't.
I wonder if maybe that was why he never got the bigger push, because if you think about the guys that got pushed back then, most of them could talk. You had, like Flair, you had Flair, and you know what I mean. A lot of them guys could. Dusty, a lot of the guys had a big personality. He really didn't have that real big personality like some of the other guys that they pushed at that time.
Yeah, Justin had left and just come back on what we was talking about. He may have an opinion. Justin, I don't know if you've seen the documentary on Steamboat that aired last night, but during that documentary, I mean, he won the championship from Macho Man, and then he had been promised 2 weeks off, and then they told him no, he couldn't have the 2 weeks off, and they took the title off of him, the Honky Tonk Man, and then he told him, well, I'm taking 6 months off, and never really got pushed again while he was in WWE. He was with WCW, had all them great matches with Flair. He thought he was going to have more matches with Flair, and was not aware of that night they started a program with Terry Funk, and he never really got pushed again. And I just as good as Steamboat was, I don't understand. They basically shit on him to me.
Mm-hmm. And that's pretty spot on there, Warren. Kind of like what Chris said. He was just he wasn't a good promo guy really, and he was just a plain old wrestler. I mean, I hate to say that, very scientific, but he wasn't that over the top that Warren's talking about. I agree with that.
But he was pretty over. I mean, with the crowd. I mean, the crowd loved his matches. I mean, well, I'm sure you watching that show, you heard that pop when he pinned Savage. There in Detroit when he pinned Savage with that roll up, that place went crazy.
Yeah, I'm. That's almost spot on, Justin.
Yeah, Justin, I would say you're probably right there. I'm sure there's some grudges.
Well, and he always hired him back and stuff. You know, there was never an issue there because probably money. You know, he could make money, so that's over the grudge. But he still treated him like shit. He didn't care. But
how's it going, Mike?
Yeah, Vince is a. I can go on about Vince. But go ahead.
Well, yeah. I thought it was a really good documentary. I agree with you, Mark. It's one of the better ones I've seen.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna watch it.
I've seen.
Well, next up, guys, is
I've got a little thing here. I didn't realize that I mean, I kind of remembered some of that earlier pre-80 stuff, but Flair made him because Flair chose him to be his opponent. And yeah, probably because
speaking of that dragon stuff,
dots.
They had him spit fire, and hell, they really it's easy, just go do it. And he burned himself. They didn't really give him hardly any training, very little training. They just sent him out there here, just spit fire.
Okay, and the other thing I hated, remember when he carried that?
It shows. You can see
that Komodo dragon thing out there, that big lizard.
Yeah.
All set to stake. I thought, that's just stupid shit there. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it was Steamboat's idea to bring the son out dressed up.
Yeah, but once in a while it was fine. But every freaking time.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of true. That's kind of a zoo era. A zoo era. It was.
Well, yeah, you remember
Okay,
Bobby
guys.
Heenan's Hall of Fame speech? That Bobby Heenan starts rambling off
Yep.
because he accidentally said WWF.
Who
And he
was
said, "You know
who was
what?"
the dude when they do the promos and the dude be riding around like a fucking camel?
Probably mean Gene.
Might have been Gene. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember something. But I
remember
remember that time that
at the zoo.
I remember that one WrestleMania where Heenan came out and was riding backwards on that.
9,
Camel.
WrestleMania 9.
Yeah, I remember that too. But this was like a promo thing.
It probably was Mean
But
Gene.
yeah, I
'cause
remember.
it was at a Saturday night's main event because he interviewed Steele and the Bushwhackers, and
And then him and another guy do a thing like where they were in the safari or something.
oh,
They
probably.
did Safari with Kamala and
What was the other announcer guy's name?
Lord Alfred Hayes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember, now that you brought that up, do you remember when they introduced Kamala? Have you ever heard that story? And they're out there in that guy's backyard in the high grass, and they didn't tell the wife he's cutting the promo. And the wife started mowing the yard, so he's supposedly the African juggler, and here she's in the background mowing the grass because they forgot to tell her.
Yep. Andrew said it was Gene visiting the Bushwhackers.
Yeah. Saturday night's main event, I believe.
Yeah, they did a lot of that stuff, a lot of skits and stuff on Saturday night's main event.
Kimchi, which is the Brooklyn Brawler. He was one of them.
Yep, he was one of them.
You know what I thought was funny? Can I say what Shane Douglas made a statement? I watched Steamboat versus Savage many times when I was a kid and wore the tape out, and I thought, you're not, and I looked it up, and he was like 23 at the time. Because I looked to see what age he was, and he was 23 when WrestleMania 3 come out, and he called himself a kid. I'm thinking kid like 16.
He'd have been 23 in 87.
Yeah, because he was born in 64.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you weren't no kid. I'm not older than you are. I didn't think I was, and I'm not. He's older than me by 4 years, but.
Yeah, how was he a kid? Well, maybe he thought 23 is still a kid. I don't know.
In wrestling world, it might be.
Next up, guys, I'm gonna put you on the spot. I got a new segment here. It's called off the top of your head. Off the top of your head. Didn't give you guys any notice on this. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna let you guys go first and second. Trade back. I'll go last on this because we can't use the same answers.
I think we're being set up, Chris.
So that's why I'm gonna go last. That way, okay. The first one we're gonna be talking about is who right now on the indie scene do you like, or is your favorite, or who do you think the best talker?
Hawker.
And we can't give the same answers. Marcus, this time I'll let you go first, and Chris will go second, and I'll go third.
What's the term? You said
talker.
Talker.
Best.
I thought you said Hawker.
What do you think I said?
What the hell? That's a whole different category.
I don't know what the hell that category is.
Jeremy Hagley. Sorry, I took it away from you guys. You give me number one. Jeremy Hagley, the best talker. And see, you can't use that now.
Damn it.
Best hawker. Jeremy Hagley fits that one too, I guess. But
I'm gonna go ladies' man Mike King.
He can when he wants to. That's for damn sure.
Mm-hmm.
See, Caldex says nerd, and Austin says Jordan James. Jordan James is a good one.
Yeah, Nelson does pretty
Thanks,
good.
Austin. Austin ain't involved in this, so I'm gonna go with Jordan James. Thanks, Austin.
That's a good one.
Yeah, look at him.
Okay.
He puts us on the spot, and he takes answers from the peanut galleries.
Okay, I'll give another one. I'll go with Buck.
Yeah, Buck does pretty good.
I'll go with Buck Sexton. Okay, next one is, this is not on the indie scene. This is pro wrestling. best talker. It don't have to be now. It can be from now or from back in history. And it don't have to be who you thought was best. It can be your favorite.
Chris is first.
Chris, I'll let you go first this time, Chris. Marcus will go second.
I'm gonna go with Piper.
See, I knew you'd do that. And I'm going to go Flair. And if you had said Flair, I was going to go Piper. So I already had 1 and 2 set up.
Thanks a lot, you assholes.
You're
Let's
the
see.
one that made the rules.
I know. I went last to be fair because I could sit and think about this, so it's not fair to you guys.
It was either gonna be Flair or Piper. So
Yeah, I had it the way that
For
whatever
me-
you picked, I was picking the other.
MJF.
Yeah, he does really good too. And so
That's
does
good.
Jericho. So
Okay.
SWS, look at this.
Indy.
SWS, look at this shit.
Indie wrestling. Who's the best, or don't have to be the best, can be your favorite heel? Marcus, you're first.
Danger said Cornette. That's a good one too.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a talker.
Yep. Amen.
Juan Thomas.
Juan Thomas. Okay.
Because he's
That's a
always
good
pissed
one.
me off. I mean, he's
Heel.
pissed me off many times. He's very good.
Independent.
Independent.
I could say Johnny Blaze right now. That's a whole different story.
IK3.
Austin, you didn't steal that, did you?
I didn't steal that.
Okay.
You know, but hey,
Yep.
we had the same. But yeah, IK3.
I'm gonna say, because I seen it firsthand at Lebanon and how great he was, I'm gonna say Justin Danger. The way he worked that crowd that night, it was outstanding.
See, now you choose.
I love it, Justin.
Yeah, I do too, buddy. Oh, look, and Tanner, he's just kissing butt of Justin Danger. He wants to be
I'm
the
not.
belt.
Hey, I'll go ahead and say because I told you on the way home. I was really impressed with Danger
Oh, yeah.
Saturday night. I really enjoyed that match, and
I did too.
they had that crowd from the get go. And Danger even done a couple things I'm not used to seeing him do. So I mean, it was a great match.
I agree. Okay, heel for pro wrestling. It can be now or past history.
You mean big time?
Yep.
Look,
Kelly Fine. Yeah, she's a pretty good heel. Okay, Marcus, I'll let you go first.
what are we on?
How far back did
he-
it go?
As far as you want. Heel, pro wrestling, big time.
Original Chic.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna go Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah. Man, heat wise and everything, I'm gonna go with Piper because he could get so much heat. I'm gonna go with Piper. Austin's going with Triple H.
Tanner says Jeff Jarrett. Austin says Triple H. Caldex says Roberts. Maybe I need to change my answers. Caldex is agreeing with me too damn much.
Yep. I think you're drinking the Kool-Aid. Next up is It Factor, charisma. And this is for independents. Chris, you get to go first. Marcus will go second.
Ooh, that's
I'll
a
go
good.
third.
Warren said $1 Million Man. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Charisma.
It Factor. Who's got the It Factor right now on independents, guys? Chris
Right
first,
now,
Marcus second, me third.
It Factor.
It Factor.
I'm first.
No, Chris is first this time.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Dalton Love.
I don't disagree with that.
I'll go IK3.
That's IK3 was my other one, but I just used them, so I didn't want to use them again. But Austin said IK3 as well.
Charisma, It Factor. I'm gonna go with Zay Gates.
Here was late. Yes.
Okay, It Factor, charisma, pro wrestling, big time. Be from the history or from now. Marcus, you go first. Chris second. Me third.
Is NWA part of that?
Yeah,
All right. I'm gonna go Silas Mason. I think he's got the It Factor right now.
I agree with you. His look is outstanding.
Mm-hmm. And after seeing that docu-series, I have a different respect for Silas Mason even more now. So
Yeah, people out there, check out that docuseries, NWA.
Corrigan,
Oh, Billy Corgan's Welcome to Carneyland.
Yeah.
Welcome to Carneyland. Yeah, check that out, Chris.
What is it?
It Factor Charisma for Big Time.
I'm gonna say Pat McAfee.
Pat McAfee.
I haven't used him in a while, and he does have. I mean, he does have that charisma and that.
I think it's Cody Rhodes.
That's a good one too.
I mean, he's a mega baby face, man. I tell you.
Warren says Ospreay. Austin says Seth freaking Rollins. Kodak says Kenny Omega.
Yeah, those are all good ones.
In the independent scene, who do you think right now is really making big moves? Who's really moving up the ranks in the independents? Chris, you get to go first this time. Marcus second, me third.
I'm gonna say Zay Gates.
I'm on Cameron Saturn.
That's a good one. Even though let me see. Having a brain fart, I can't remember the name. I know I can see him. Damn it, that's terrible. Okay, I got it now. Even though I haven't seen him a lot lately, but they're wrestling everywhere. I mean, everywhere, overseas and everything. Rachel Armstrong.
Yeah, she's busy. Have you seen her next week? Her
Yes.
next month? Good Lord, she's everywhere. And now that she's out of school, she's freed up even more.
Okay, making moves on the big time. And that's going to be more, I guess, more right now, Marcus. You really can't go back in the future on making moves.
Oh.
We'll let Chris go first on this because Marcus doesn't watch a lot of regular wrestling right now. Even though he does watch NWA every week.
Yeah, I'm probably going to pull one of them guys.
I'd say Gunther.
That's a good one. Marcus, you got somebody?
Yeah, I'm going to go Silas Mason again. I'm sorry. He's just my favorite right now in the big time.
Yep.
Okay. Tanner says Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, Carmelo Hayes is a good one. I'm going to say Braun Breaker.
Yeah, Braun Breaker's doing good too. I would have said Gunther as well.
I think Braun Breaker's getting ready to really break out. And our last one is must see. Who do you think on the independent scene is must see? I've got two. Hope you guys don't steal them. Marcus, you can go first, and Chris will go second. I'll go last.
Well, I'll have to go Cameron Saturn.
IK3.
There's so many of those guys, though.
There's a lot of.
There's a bunch of them.
They all have like Hoss Huxley's got this new attitude, and Justin Danger, like you said, he's broke away, and
even though
Busters, and
I'm gonna say, and I got a reason for. I'm gonna say Jeremy Hadley. I think he is must see. I think that even though he could be a little bit over the top, if I was going to take somebody new to see somebody, I like for Hadley to be on the card, so they could witness.
And take him early so they could see him.
Yeah, coming in the building and everything. Yes.
Hadley's good. Justin Danger said Dex Royal, Jake Oman.
There's 2,000 answers. Okay, must see. You could go back to the older times or now. For you, who you could do now, Marcus? Must see. Who was must see for you?
You mean like the big time?
Yep.
Oh, well, I say Bruiser Brody.
I knew he was going to say Bruiser Brody.
God, I wish I'd seen him live.
Yep.
Man, I wish I'd seen him.
And he wrestled in Indy some, but that was before you was gone, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was in the 70s.
He was gone before the travel began.
Chris?
Stone Cold. 'Stone 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 Cold. '
I'm gonna go with somebody from now, and just because I think I'm gonna go with Gunther. He's kind of must see for me because his matches are so different and could win with different pinfalls and I just love his stuff.
Tanner says Dusty. Austin says
Yeah,
Shawn
Dusty.
Michaels.
Yeah, Dusty definitely too.
Shawn Michaels. I've seen Shawn Michaels live. I've seen Dusty live too. So I see Dusty in the NWA and WWE. So the night I seen him in NWA, he took on Tully Blanchard.
Justin Danger says Raven and Owen Hart.
Owen Hart.
Okay, guys, I got a bracket. Most controversial pro wrestling matches in history. We're going to go number 1 against number 16. Number 1 on their list was Shawn and Brett from Survivor Series 1997. Number 16 was Sergeant Slaughter versus the Ultimate Warrior when Slaughter won the title. I believe that was at a WrestleMania.
No, it was a Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble? Okay.
Was Sergeant Slaughter and Ultimate Warrior?
Yep.
Yeah, that was Royal Rumble. Because Savage come in and crashed him in the head with the scepter.
That's right. So what do you guys think? I think it's got to be Brett and Shawn from Survivor Series.
For controversial, yes.
Controversial matches.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's saying.
Okay, next up, number 8 versus number 9. Number 8 is John Cena versus CM Punk. Money in the Bank 2011. Punk wins in Chicago and leaves through the crowd with the championship. Number 9 was Bob Backlund loses the belt to the Iron Sheik when Arnold Skaaland threw in the towel.
Well, you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to go Backlund because that towel throw, and I didn't even know that was coming if you're watching it on TV.
No.
Because you didn't see Skaaland, you just seen the towel show up.
Yeah, I'm going Backlund. Yeah, because I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, I hadn't either. And you've always seen it maybe a few times since. When Owen talked his mama into throwing the towel for Backlund to beat Brett, then to turn around and give it to Diesel like 2 days later in like a 30-second squash. So
yeah, it's going to be the Backlund.
Is it really? That's what everybody else is saying too?
Next up, 4 versus number 13. Number 4, 2015 Royal Rumble when Daniel Bryan got eliminated early and the fans booed Roman Reigns out of the building.
Yay, fans.
And that's against number 13, Hogan versus Jeff Jarrett. Jarrett lays down and takes the pin for Hogan. They were 2 good ones.
Yeah, I'm on the Hogan Jarrett bullshit. I mean, that was worse than Figure Poker Doom almost. And you know why? Because Hogan went ahead and done it. Hogan didn't have to pin him. He could have just left.
Which one was more controversial for you, Chris? That Royal Rumble where they booed Roman out of the building because of Daniel Bryan got eliminated, or Jeff Jarrett laying down and letting Hogan pin him, and because Hogan didn't want to lose the belt to Jarrett?
I'm gonna say Hogan and Jarrett.
Yeah, I think I'm going with Hogan and Jarrett too.
All because of shit stain, as Jim Cornette puts it.
Yep. Number 5 versus number 12. 5, Sting and Jeff Hardy Victory Road when Hardy showed up impaired. Against number 12, Hogan versus Shawn Michaels at SummerSlam 2005. It was supposed to be the best of 3 series, but Hogan did not want to lose to Shawn. Shawn was pissed and oversold Hogan's offense was almost to a comical degree to make a fool out of Hogan.
He didn't make a fool out of Hogan. He made the whole thing damn funny is what he did. But I'm going to go with Sting and Hardy.
Yeah, because Hardy was so impaired. I mean, it was so obvious.
He was terrible bad.
Looks like it's going to be the Hardy. Next up, number 2 versus 15. Number 2, this is a good one. Devon Dudley, and because I forgot he was even the partner in this, and Mass Transit versus the Gangsters. ECW, November 23rd, 1996. Eric Cutlass, a 17-year-old kid, wrestled as Mass Transit. New Jack cut him with a surgical scalpel, severing 2 arteries in his forehead.
Against who?
That's number 2. Well, it was the Gangsters, which was New Jack and his partner, against Devon Dudley and Mass Transit. That was that 17-year-old kid.
Mm-hmm.
And he lied and said he'd been wrestling. They didn't know he was 17. They put him in the ring, and New Jack proceeded to cut him with that scalpel. And he bled like a pig, about died. Against number 15, Lesnar versus Orton at SummerSlam 2016. That's when Lesnar legitimately busted open Orton by giving him 4 arms to the head. And that's when Chris Jericho got into it with, tried to attack Lesnar because he was upset because he was worried about Orton because he got busted open and thought, he was really hurting him and everything and didn't think it should have happened that way.
All right. Can I say something real quick?
Yep.
They, Maven, it was Tough Enough Maven. If you go on his YouTube channel, he just interviewed Devon Dudley step for step for that Mass Transit incident. It just came out within the last week or two. You need to watch that from Devon's standpoint of what happened with that kid. So, and I'm going to go with the Mass Transit. I mean, that was terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you get a chance, you want to watch it. It's about 30 minutes of an interview about that.
You think the same thing, Chris? New Jack and him?
Yep.
Okay, number 7 versus 10. Number 7, Hulk Hogan versus Andre. The main event, Andre pinned Hogan, even though he kicked out, had the 2 referees, the twins. Andre gives the belt to Ted DiBiase. That's number 7.
That was in Indianapolis.
Number 10, Brock Lesnar ends Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania 30. That's a tough one.
Well, if you want controversial, I'll have to go Hogan and Andre.
What do you think, Chris? I don't think Taker should have lost to him, but that was very crazy. I mean, it was a very well done storyline for controversy. It was very well done. Well, everybody and their brother watched that main event that Friday night. I think there was like 30 million people watched that night.
Well, a lot of the people literally know have been there. I was not there. I do have pictures from that, but because my mom and dad was, but
dangerous a business-wise streak. Misery says Hogan and Andre was more controversial. Called X as the streak.
we got this one split.
I'm going with Hogan, Andre. What do you think, Chris?
See, and if you was there that night, Chris, you would have seen Andre or Hogan in person. He showed up that night.
It never showed up when we went.
If Chris had showed up that night, then Hogan would have been there. That'd been a controversy. But
I'm gonna say Hogan and Andre because to me the streak getting broke was more. I was more surprised.
Yeah, I agree.
Than I was upset about
Hogan
it.
and Andre. Number 3 against number 14. Number 3, Wendy Rector versus the Spider Lady. And it was the original screw job because Fabius Moolah was under the mask, and I don't think Wendy Rector knew who was underneath the mask and didn't know she was going to lose the belt. Vince screwed her.
They didn't even call that a screw job back then. We didn't know that was a screw job till like 3 decades later. But I remember seeing that on TV.
Yeah,
that was
we
on
didn't know
Saturday morning.
Yes. She had no idea this was happening, didn't know who was under the mask, didn't know any of that shit. That was number 3. And that's 3 against 14. 14 is Baron Corbin beats Kurt Angle at WrestleMania 35. And I believe it was Kurt Angle's last match.
Oh, well, I don't know if that's controversial. I'll go for controversial.
A lot of people were mad about it.
Yeah, well, I'll go.
I know a lot of people.
They were pissed. That's true. I guess you're right. I'll have to go with that. Like I said, we didn't even know the Spider thing was a word or a thing until years later.
That's true, but I'm going with Spider Lady too because that's terrible what they did to Victor. Oh, Vince.
Figure we didn't know anything about that for 30 years.
We've got 2 Spider Ladies on here. What do you think, Chris? I'm 3.
Who's the other 2?
I'll go with the other one, the Angle.
Justin Danger said Spider Lady. Warren Mesri said Spider Lady, and
Wow,
Richter.
okay.
I'm saying Spider Lady and Richter. You too. So I think right now it's going to be Spider Lady and Richter unless we get another one up here.
I can lose that. Okay.
All right, Spider Lady and Richter.
And you know what's funny about that whole thing? Is because the original Spider Lady was a tall, skinny, lanky woman. Moolah was a chunky woman. How did she not know that wasn't the normal Spider Lady? I mean, there was totally a body size difference in those two. That's why I said I don't think we didn't know it was a controversy, because there was definitely a difference in size on those 2 Spider Ladies. But
okay, next up, number 6 versus number 11. Number 6, Hogan beating Yokozuna at WrestleMania 9. Showing up, showing up.
That was bullshit.
Well, let's hear the other one. Number 11, Triple H versus Booker at WrestleMania. The storyline had racist undertones.
I'm going to go Hogan, because I was a Hogan mark. But that pissed me off so damn bad that you can ask my dad. I was losing it that day, and Kelly will tell you too. You're getting
going with the Hogan one.
That's been 30 years ago.
Okay, next up, guys, we got Brett and Sean, and it'll be taking on Backlund and Sheik. Which was more controversial?
Man.
I think it's got to be Brett and Sean, even though I thought, because it was real.
Yeah, that was legitimately. The other was, I'm going to have to go that route too.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Sean and Brett.
That's who I would say.
Next up on that side of the bracket, Hogan and Jarrett against Hardy and Sting. I wrote down Stink. That's the Stink.
I'm going to have to go Hogan and Jarrett.
I'm going with Hogan and Jarrett too.
I'll go with Hogan and Jarrett.
We got a couple Hardy and Stings.
Steaks?
That's what I wrote down. Hardy and Sting.
Well, you do. You got them on both sides of the fence, don't you?
Oh, we got 3 Hardy and Stings, and we got 3 of ours. So we need one more vote, guys.
Oh, no, wait
a minute.
Did Kelly vote?
Hardy.
Warren,
we got 4.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's going to be Hogan and Jarrett. Next up, Devon and Mass Transit versus Hulk Hogan and Andre.
And I'm still going to have to go with Devon and Mass Transit.
Especially after the fact. We really didn't realize at the time when it happened. But yeah. We thought it was just another Saturday night at ECW. Yeah, I think it's the Mass Transit too, guys.
Yep.
And next one is Spider and Richter and Hogan and Yoko.
Ooh, jeez. Well, I'm going to have to say Hogan and Yoko, because that's the one that pissed me off. The other one didn't bother me at all.
Oh, yeah, you. Warren agrees. Well, that was just kind of a Saturday night for ECW. Kind of.
Just kind of sad.
It's after the fact. I know it was after the fact. And Hogan you see how many times Hogan's on this list because he's a dick. But I'm going to go with Spider and Richter. It looks like it's going to be Hogan and Yoko. Okay, down to our final 4, guys. First matchup, it's Brett and Sean versus Hogan and Jarrett. And they were very interesting because they're both real.
Yeah, there
I'll
was.
say Brett and Sean.
I'm going to say Hogan and Jarrett, knowing the backstories, because Brett was supposed to lose somehow to Shawn anyway, and that other one was just pure damn stupid that Vince Russo. I can't believe Hogan even did that. He should have just left. He shouldn't have pinned Jerry. He should have just walked out. So I'm going Hogan and Jarrett.
Okay, we got Austin says Brett and Shawn. Cortex says Brett and Shawn. Misery says Hogan and Jarrett. Marcus says Hogan and Jarrett. What are you thinking?
Brett and Shawn.
It has such a big effect on the business. I'm going to go with Brett and Shawn too. So
Yeah, because the other one basically was in a dying company, if you think about it.
And other side, you got Hogan and Yoko against Mass Transit.
Oh, damn. I'm going to have to go Hogan and Yoko because Mass Transit didn't bother me at the time because I didn't know anything about it until like years later.
Yeah, that's the thing. Same thing with like the Spider Lady thing. You didn't know nothing about it until years later.
I'm gonna go with Hogan and Yoko as well.
When that thing happened at ECW really wasn't that well established yet, really.
Well, like Warren said, it was just like another Saturday night at ECW because nobody knew
after the fact.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Mass Transit over the Hogan and Yoko. Hogan was just being himself, being a dick.
Yeah, that pissed me off real bad that day. That was bad.
Looks like it's going to be Hogan and Yoko. Okay, the finals. Hogan and Yoko against Brett and Shawn.
We'll have to go Hogan and Yoko, even if I am thinking I'm going down on this one.
I'm going with Brett and Shawn.
Brett and Shawn.
Brett and Shawn. It looks like it's going to be Brett and Shawn.
Yeah.
And it was Brett and Shawn was the number one. It held up, but Hogan and Yoko was. I don't want to do it down. Hogan and Yoko was definitely
like
down.
9 or somewhere.
Somewhere like that. Yeah, Hogan and Yoko on that list was number 9, I think. I think you're right, Marcus. Nope, it wasn't 9. Where was it? It was number 6.
Okay.
So that's a pretty good list. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Kelly says she likes these brackets. She asked me every morning, what's your topic? And I says, well, and I read one and said, so we come up with the bracket. She said, I like the brackets. So.
Well, guys, I think that's it. Real quick, Monday Night Raw tonight, I think they did this because there's no sports to go up against them tonight. They announced, which is very unusual, they announced about the whole card. Liv Morgan's going to appear to talk about her kiss with Dom that happened after it went off the air, but went crazy on the internet. Got Damian Priest against Rey Mysterio, Sheamus against Ludwig Kaiser, The New Day versus the Authors of Pain. And I think since then there's been a couple more matches. Ricochet against Braun Breaker.
Oh, that'll be good.
So should be a pretty good show tonight. So you might want to check that out, Monday Night Raw. Warren Misery, he's going to ask us, really.
What's he?
Kissing call X's ass.
I'll be there. I'll be at Sharpsville that day.
We might be.
I have to reintroduce you guys to everybody.
I know. Yeah, I'm excited to go to that new new
No,
facility.
it's old school as you can get. That video is beautiful.
You have a great night too, Billy. Well, guys, I think that's all we got for tonight.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody watching. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at Gonzo Sports Room. Like and follow Facebook, Twitch, X, Instagram, all at Gonzo Sports Room as well. And we'll see you guys next Monday.
That'd be absolutely devastating.
This is Joey Owens' show. They've been trying to get me on this broadcast forever, and this is the worst damn broadcast I've ever been on. So you all can kiss my ass while I win this match.